people that come to our country to sell fake food.
Yeah, which country are you from?
South Africa.
Yes, which country? I'm from West Africa. The country is Gambia.
South Africa is a country, my brother. South Africa is a country.
I'm from West Africa. West Africa is not a country, it's a region. West Africa, the country is Gambia. You say you're from South Africa? Which country?
South Africa is a country, my brother. Look that up. On its own, South Africa is a country, unlike your region. To us, it's not a region, it's a country.
No, my sister. There is South Africa, West Africa, North Africa, East Africa. You from South Africa, which country?
South Africa is a country. Go look to your Google.
Listen, South Africa is a country.
Not southern parts of Africa. South Africa. Do you know Cyril Ramaphosa?
Which one is? I don't know that country. Which country is Cyril Ramaphosa? What?
You wouldn't know all countries, just like we also didn't know that West Tonton is a country. South Africa is a country on its own.
My sister, me, I'm from the country. My country is Gambia. Our region is West Africa. Your region is South Africa. What about your country?
The name South Africa is not a name of a country. It's a name of a region in the continent of Africa. Let me explain. You see, the name South Africa originated from the region's geographical location on the southernmost point in the continent of Africa. You see, when the British established the Union of South Africa in 1910, okay, she unified the previous separated colonies, the British colonies, which were the Cape Colony, the Natal, the Transvaal, and the Orange River Colony. They were unified into one nation. So the choice of the name South Africa reflected the position of the country in the region of Africa and the unification of these colonies in the region of Africa, which bears the name South Africa. So the name South Africa was coined to unify these previous colonies of Britain into one nation, South Africa, to reflect the place of these colonies where they are in Africa, which is the southern point of Africa. So the name is not a name of a country, but the name of a region where these colonies are existing. You need to understand that the colonial masters were given names after unification and after location to pontificate to their brothers in Europe and America their exact position in Africa. The name South Africa was chosen to reflect the position where these previously separated colonies that are now unified by the Britain in Africa, to know where they are in Africa. That is why the name South Africa was chosen. It is not an aboriginal name. It's a name born out of location of the previous colonies. You need to understand that South Africa is not the name of a country, it's the name of a region. Because that is what the British did. The colonies were brought. Let me teach you using Nigeria. The same thing happened in Nigeria. Okay? When Flora Shaw, the British journalist, the one you call Oluga's wife, she was not his wife at that time. At that point, she was a mistress. The one you call in your local parents, hookup girl. That is whom she was to him, although they later married. But the name Nigeria was coined in 1897. Most of you thought it is in 1914. No, 1897 to 1914 is 17 years. She coined the name from the Niger River. Okay, because that was the most significant feature in the region, because the river flows into most part of West Africa. She suggested the name in a newspaper, okay, in Times newspaper. She suggested the name. So in 1914, the British adopted the name. Why? Because, listen, when the name Nigeria was coined, Nigeria, the place existing today as Nigeria, was not yet officially a British colony. It was not yet official a British colony when the name was coined in 1897 by Flora Shaw, Los Rugas hookup girl, mistress, a British journalist that later became his wife. Now, At that point, the British colonialist was consolidating authority in different territories in what became as Nigeria, the Lagos colony, the Southern Protectorate, and the Northern Protectorate. So when there was need to unify these colonies together, there is need for them to adopt a common name so that these previous colonies will not be referred to different names. Hence, they call them what? Nigeria. The same thing is what happened in South Africa, where they have to bring the Cape colony, the Natal, the Transvaal, and the Orange River colony into together. Is it because it was not called amalgamation? The same thing they did in Nigeria. They have to bring the Lagos colony, which was called the Queen's colony, and then the Southern and the Northern Protectorate. They brought them together and called them Nigeria. You need to understand that countries in Africa who had leaders who were conspicuous and scrupulous had to change their names. But Nigeria and South Africa did not change. But most times we don't notice the one of Nigeria because the name comes from a future in a word you have in a region. But South Africa's own is Confucius. Very Confucius, because we're not the only country in the continent of South Africa. Namibia is there, Lesotho is there, Mozambique is there. Okay, Lesotho is there. Many others, Swazini is there. You cannot colonize the name of an entire region and say is your name. No, South Africa is not the name of a country. Countries like Ghana, Kwame Nkrumah on the 6th of March 1957 said, no, we are not Gold Coast, we are Ghana. Reflecting the ancient kingdoms of Ghana. Okay? After Upper Volta gained independence in 1960, in 1984, Thomas Sankara came and said, no, on the 4th of August, suggested the name Burkina Faso. And on the 6th of August, the assembly endorsed it, and Burkina Faso was, and Upper Volta was changed to Burkina Faso, which means the land of incorruptible people, from the language of the Moors and Douala. People like Zimbabwe changed their own for Rhodesia in 1980. They called themselves Zimbabwe to reflect the ancient kingdom of the stone that Zimbabwe is known that Zimbabwe is known for. What about the Belgian Congo? Eh? Mobutu Sese Seko Mbembe and Zambanga changed it to Sahel in 1971 till 1997. They changed it to the Democratic Republic of Congo to show the independence that they got after the era of Mobutu Sese Seko Mbembe and Zambanga. So countries like this change their names. Other countries change. Namibia changed. Tanganyika, Tanzania, they changed. But what happened? Nigeria and South Africa kept their own. But if you can pardon the one of Nigeria, you can pardon the one of South Africa. Because it is confusing. It's a Confucius state. You cannot continue to keep a name that belongs to an entire region and say it's your name. So that young man in that video trending everywhere saying that your region is South Africa, what's the name of the country? The young man is not wrong. He's right. He knows what he's saying. Because South Africa is not a name of a country. It's a name of a region. You have to know this, Africa. We must change all this nonsense that are confusing. I don't want this video to be lengthy, okay? I'm going to make a lengthy video more on my YouTube channel. That's why you have to go to my YouTube, Modern Day Tank Choir, so you can see lengthy video where I will do teachings on this. I will elaborate on them, okay? I will elucidate better on my YouTube, Modern Day Tank Choir. I will give you free books that you will read and learn things that were in line before now. Wisdom Africa is the principal thing. Remember, you can always request for boosts from me. All you need to do is to go to my bio right here on TikTok or anywhere on the platform. You will see my WhatsApp contact, WhatsApp, and say wisdom is the principal thing. Book will be given to you. Okay? I love you and I care about you. Okay? But God loves you the best. Wisdom Africa is the principal thing. Ha ha.